because we actually did a webinar on Twitter 5 years ago. However, there are some things that have changed, and we're going to go over some of those changes, and we're going to really sort of go over it from the get-go. But that's why it's called Revisited. First of all, what is Twitter? Twitter is a fast-paced social media site and program where you can communicate with people you follow and who follow you. And if you don't understand that just yet, that's okay. You will shortly because I'm going to explain those terms. The ways to access Twitter. You can use a web browser like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, or you can use a Twitter app that you can find on your smartphones, and there's one for all three major platforms, which would be the Windows Phone, the iPhone, and an Android. And you can also get an app in the tablet, the Android and the iPhone or the Apple tablets. There's also some specialized softwares such as TweetDeck um, that can also allow you to access Twitter. We're not really going to go into those specialities right now, but we can go in those later on. Okay, so let's move on and see what's happening next. Here's just a little cartoon. This is God asking, "What have you done in your life?" And the person asking, "Didn't you read my tweets?" Pretty popular little cartoon there. Now, one of the reasons that we're doing Twitter again is that there's been a lot of attention with Twitter over the last, maybe 18 months or so. And this is one of the reasons here. This, this gentleman that you see on the screen, this is one of his tweets. Um, a lot of people didn't really pay attention to Twitter before, but in the last year and a half, you cannot turn on your news and not hear about some tweet that Donald Trump put out, whether it was when he was running as a candidate, uh, whether now as president of the United States. This man uses Twitter a lot. And for those of you that say you're too old to use Twitter, I'd just like to remind you that he's 70 and I'm 67, and we use Twitter a lot. So that's one of the reasons that this is not a political webinar, by the way, but you're going to see me use some of these things from Donald Trump because he is one of the main reasons that a lot of people now have interest in Twitter and they did not have the interest before. So this particular tweet that you're seeing on the screen, this is from his personal account, Real Donald Trump. Okay, now this next one that you see, this is from the POTUS account. That's President of the United States, which of course is once again Trump. And this is where he's posted something about those people affected by tornadoes yesterday. So we're going to just kind of play off of some of these things in a little bit, and we'll get to that. First, let's talk about usernames. All usernames on Twitter start with the @ symbol. So my personal one is @ Johnny Blue Note. The business one is @ 4KCC. And then we also manage one for Port St. Lucie, which is @ PSLHS Drama for the drama department of Port St. Lucie High School. So anyone who has a Twitter account, if you want to send them a message or something, you're going to use the @ symbol, which we'll talk about shortly. Now let's talk about some terms, and this will help you hopefully get some better understanding of Twitter. Uh, One of the terms is a follow, and in Twitter we follow others, and that allows you to read all of their tweets. Um, some people refer to that as stalking, but in Twitter, it's legitimate and we call it follow. Now, they can block you if for some reason they decide they don't want you following them. If you start to follow somebody and start to give them a hard time or something, they might block you. Um, they may or may not follow you back. So you might follow someone and they just don't bother to follow you back. And there's a bunch of reasons for that, and we may talk about that a little bit. The next term we want to talk about is a tweet. What is a tweet? A tweet is a message sent in Twitter containing 140 characters or less. Pictures and videos can now be sent as well. Now, that is something that's different from our original Twitter webinar, because at that time you could not send pictures or videos. The pictures and videos do not count as part of the 140 characters, by the way. Now, here is an example of a tweet. This is one that I sent, I don't know, January 26th. And it says, my mother had it right. One, can't say anything good, don't say anything at all. Two, treat everyone with respect, even those you don't agree with or like. And the reason I sent that out is, of course, with the political atmosphere on Twitter, there's been a lot of things being said simply because someone doesn't like someone or they don't like their politics, and it can get a little nasty sometimes. But anyway, that's an example of just a plain tweet. There's no picture attached to it, there's no video. It's just something I sent out, and people that followed me would have gotten that tweet. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is what's called an at with the at symbol tweet. And this is a tweet which is sent to someone in particular or is sent as a reply to one of their tweets. These tweets can be read by anyone, even though they are directed at someone or some people in particular. Now, I'm going to give you two examples of this. I sent a tweet to NCIS underscore CBS, which is the Twitter account for the TV program NCIS. And Joyce and I had watched an episode where Jimmy was the sort of the star, and he was on the ledge. And I said the best episode of the season, this season, in my top 10 of entries of entire season series. Okay, so that was sent with an at NCIS underscore CBS. So it was sent to them. But anyone who actually follows me or follows NCS would be able to read the tweet, but it really was just sent to them. Now, the second one that you see on the screen, you'll see I have a circle around in reply to, and that was a reply. Robin is one of my friends that I follow on Twitter, and she follows me back. And she had tweeted something, and I replied, and you notice it has the at and her Twitter name. And then I said, "You believe him, don't you?" And gave a little winking emoticon. Okay, so those are at tweets, but even though they both start with the at symbol, they're a little different because the second one is a reply. The other one is just a message sent to a particular account. All right, and the next term is a DM, which stands for direct message. Now, direct messages are something that's sent to an individual Twitter account that only that person can see. Now, there are some rules. You can only send a direct message to someone if they are also following you, or if they allow direct messages from anyone on their account. And that's something that's set in the privacy settings. And I'll give you two examples here. The first one, I know these are probably a little small on some of the screens, but the first one was a direct message that I got from Tony Robbins. And I follow him and he follows me. So he sent me a direct message uh, with, just on his own. Okay, then the second direct message that you see on the screen is a message that I sent to Paula Abdul, who also, I follow her, she follows me. So I was able to send her a direct message, and those are direct messages. Only Tony and I would be able to see that first one that he sent me, and only Paula and I would be able to see the direct message that I sent her. No one else would be able to see those tweets. Now, I will tell you right now that something that you need to know on Twitter, when you have celebrities, okay, celebrities very rarely follow individual people back unless they know them. You'll see celebrities that have, millions of people following them, and they follow maybe, 1 or 2% of those people. It's very difficult to get a celebrity to follow you back, and it's even more difficult to get them to, direct message with you. So even though I gave two celebrity examples, just let me say those aren't easy to come by. Okay. So, don't think that you're going to, get on Twitter and follow some celebrity and start direct messaging with them, because you're probably not. All right, the next term is that we want to look at is a retweet. Okay, and you can retweet a tweet that you've seen, and you can do so with or without a comment from yourself. Now, I'll show you an example of that in a little while. The next term is like. You can like a tweet clicking on the heart under the tweet. This simply lets the person know you've read the tweet and that you agree or like what they had to say. That's all. And again, I'll show you that shortly. Here's an example of a like. Okay, this is somebody that I follow, Mr. Lopez, and he posted something that actually a quote from Bruce Lee, and on the heart, I clicked on it to say that I liked it, and that's why the heart looks red. When I look at my tweets, I know that I liked that tweet because it's red. If I didn't like the tweet, it would just be gray. Okay. So that's how you can go back later and look and say, did I like this tweet? If it's red, you already liked it. The next term is tag. You can tag someone in a photo, meaning people will know who they are. Now, the ability to do that can be blocked by the person based on their settings. And some people will block people from tagging them because they don't want random pictures of them out on social media. And that's a pretty common thing. So you can't always tag people because they'll block you in settings, which we'll look at in a little bit. The next term is hashtag. Hashtags are used a lot on Twitter and on Facebook. And this is where you use the pound symbol before a word or phrase, no spaces or capitalization, and capitalization doesn't count. And it allows for searching of all tweets with that hashtag. And I'm going to give you an example here. I sent out a tweet some time ago. If you thought the hashtag floppy disk I posted yesterday was old, take a look at this disk I found. And then there was a link to an Instagram picture where I posted a picture. Well, if I were to click on the hashtag floppy disk, it would bring up a search. And in that search, you would see all the tweets that had the hashtag floppy disk. So on the screen, you see just 3 tweets, but there was a long list of tweets that I could scroll up and down and look at where people used the hashtag floppy disk. Now, again, the reason that you would do that is if you want to search a hashtag to see what people are saying about that particular item, that's how you do it. You can go to search in Twitter and you can search for a particular hashtag like floppy disk, or like I might search for hashtag Karen Terrier, something like that. So it's a way of cutting down on finding searches that you want. Now, let's go back here a minute. Again, Donald Trump. And I'm going to explain when you look at a tweet, some of the things that you see. Now, if you look at this tweet, I have circled 56K and there's an arrow going to the left. That means that 56,000 people have commented on this tweet. Now, I doubt very much whether Donald Trump has read 56,000 comments, but that's how many people have commented on this particular tweet. It doesn't tell you whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but that's how many. The next little symbol is two arrows kind of in a circle, and it's telling me that 27,000 people have retweeted his tweet. So that means he sent a tweet and it has to do with his cabinet, and 27,000 people have retweeted it. Now, some may have put a comment, some may have just sent the tweet as a retweet. Okay? And then the last symbol on here is the heart, which we already know has to do with liking. You notice that this heart is gray. That means that I personally did not like this tweet. I didn't give it a like. I didn't do that any particular reason except for sure to show you what it looks like when you haven't personally liked it. But you see that 111,000 people have liked that tweet. Okay, that pretty much means 111,000 people agree with Donald Trump on this tweet. So, for those people, again, this is not a political webinar, but for those people that ask, why is Donald Trump still tweeting? Well, there's why. Because he can reach a tremendous amount of people every day in Twitter, and that's why he does it. Okay, now one other thing on this tweet. Notice that above the tweet it says President Trump has retweeted it. Okay, that means the POTUS account, President of the United States, has retweeted one of Donald Trump's. Now, here's something you need to know. When you go look at people's profiles, which we'll talk about in just a second, notice under President Trump, POTUS, it says that tweets are actually by someone else. Okay, and that someone else, the at Scavino45, he is assistant to the president in charge of media. So anything that you see under POTUS, at POTUS, is actually tweeted by him unless it's signed by DJT. Then you know that President Trump actually did the tweet. Now, that's different under Donald Trump. You notice it doesn't say that. So on the right-hand side there, if you look, so that means if you see a tweet at the real Donald Trump, that means it's really President Trump tweeting and not someone else. Okay, now you do need to know that celebrities, a lot of celebrities will often have someone who does their tweets for them, and they're not always as upfront and honest as we are here. Um, Many times celebrities will have some firm or some person doing their tweets, and they do not distinguish between, that it's not really them. So you think that a particular celebrity is tweeting and they're not. Okay. So that's one thing you need to look for in Twitter. Now, we're going to look at privacy settings because this is important. When you have a Twitter account, if you go up under your name or your picture and your name and click, you'll get a drop-down menu like you see on the screen. And there'll be a circle for settings, or there'll be a settings, which I've circled. It's not circled when you click it. If I click on that, you'll see another menu with a ton of privacy settings. Now, I'm not going to go over all of those, but I'm going to tell you if you have a Twitter account, you should go into those and check every one of them. If you're going to get a Twitter account, you should check all of those. However, the one I'm going to look at is the one that's circled here now, security and privacy. And when you click on that, you get a menu which I had to divide into two slides. The first part is security. You can have verified login requests. That means that every time you try to log into Twitter, you can have it set up that it sends a code to your phone or an email to you or something, and you have to verify that it's really you trying to log in. Now, as you can see, I do not have that checked. If my account was, if a lot of people were trying to break into my account, I would do that. But they're not, so I leave that blank. However, the password reset, I do have it set that it requires personal information so that if someone tries to reset my password without my knowledge, they will have to answer personal information or, get to my phone, which is unlikely. All right, privacy. Photo tagging. This is the one I told you. I have allow anyone to tag me in photos. Okay, hardly anyone ever tags me in the photo, so it's not a big deal. But I could have only allow people I follow to tag me or do not allow anyone to tag me. And I have some people that I follow on Twitter that certainly have that option so that no one can tag them. I can protect my tweets. Notice that's empty. I could put a check mark in there, and that means from the time I put the check mark and save it, any of my tweets, I have to, allow people to see them. Now that's a pain, but you could do it if you wanted to, but it's such a lot of work. I don't know why you would do it. Um, you can have your tweet location. I have the check mark in there, so when I send a tweet, it says my location. Um, Now, sometimes when I uh, when I go away, Joyce and I go away, I'll take that out of there so that people don't realize that I'm not in town. Okay, so that's an option for that. The second half of that same page, uh, discoverability. I can let other people find me by email address. I can let other people find me by phone number. I can take that out if I want. And then there's some other things that I can do there. Direct messages. I have it set up that I can receive a direct message from anyone. If I take that check mark back, only out, then only people who follow me and I follow could direct message. Send and receive a receipt. So if I do send a direct message and they message me back, I get a receipt. Okay? So those are settings that you should go look at right away. If you have a Twitter account, please go check them out. If you don't yet, make sure that you check those when you do. Okay, that's the privacy settings. Now profiles. This is a quick little look at my profile. Here's what you need to know about profiles. They're virtually unimportant in Twitter. Basically, no one goes and looks at your profile, or rarely. Okay, it's different than in Facebook. Almost everyone looks at your profile, but Twitter, it's more about what you're tweeting and reading and retweeting. It's not about your profile. Okay, but everybody has one, and you should tell something about yourself on the profile. And if you have some other site that could tell more about you, you could put that link in. But again, it's not really all that important. So that's the situation. Now, the last thing I want to show you here is I want to show you that Donald Trump on his profile, he joined in March of 2009. That's how long he's been in Twitter. My profile on the right, you'll see that I joined in December of 2008. So I've actually been in Twitter longer than Donald Trump. And it's interesting because we're both presidents. He's president of the United States, and I'm president of Keystone Computer Concepts, Inc. But he has a few more followers than me, I can tell you that. Okay, now I will tell you that I do see in the chat, I do see that a couple people have had trouble with the sound. And I'm going to have to address with those people individually. I don't know why they don't have sound, but everyone else appears at least to have sound because no one else has really said anything. So I will address that individually with those people. You'll definitely be able to go back and look at the recording and go from there. So I do see one person did get it, so that's great. And Nick, thank you for helping out and answering how to get sound. That helped one person anyway, apparently. Okay, so that's it for today's webinar. I know it's fast. I do want to say this: if you actually, it's not quite it. Let's throw a little survey out. If you could answer this question, do you already have Twitter on at least one of your computing devices? And there are three answers to choose from. Yes, no, yes, but I have no idea how to use it. So hopefully, now that I've said that, or that you've watched this, hopefully you'll be able to say, I know a little better how to use it. So if you could just click on that, I see some yeses coming in. I see a lot of nos. I will tell you this, regardless of what your political inclination is, if you get on Twitter, I will tell you Donald Trump is, if nothing else, he's fun to follow. So I'll give you another minute here to fill out that. I see more people filling out. We're still missing some people filling out the answering the question. And I'll give you another 30 seconds here, maybe. It's close. All right, so I'm going to end the voting. Thank you very much for voting. That's it for the webinar today. It will be posted in a couple days, and you'll also get an email. Thank you very much. Have a great day.